Blog Talk Radio.
What's going on, folks? It's your boy Long Beach Joe, and I am back at it. Again. I'm back at it again, man. Listen, we have quite a bit to talk about, all right? We got a big injury, New York Jets. Chuck Clark has gone down. We're going to be discussing that. Also a signing, rumors swirling surround the Jets right now, all right? A lot of things moving and shaking on the roster. A lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers vetoing a trade prior to becoming a New York Jet. We're going to be discussing that. We got a lot to talk about. Listen, let me get into it. I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. Listen, your boy's also on iTunes as well. Go on over to iTunes, okay? Type in The Long Beach Joe Show. Subscribe to the podcast and give me a 5-star rating. All right? I want to thank everybody that does that. I want to thank everybody that leaves me feedback as well. I appreciate it. Boy is also as well on Twitter. Going over to Twitter, type in @TheLongBeachJoe, @TheLongBeachJoe. Follow, talk to me. I'll talk back. You know, personal page is YoungJ000. All right? Talk to your boy. I go back and forth with a lot of people, a lot of shenanigans on my page as of late, okay? We talk football and we get into it, all right? And also, if you want to catch the show live, because we do live stream the show as well, if you want to see my handsome face, people are telling me constantly, Joe, we knew the show was good, okay? We like listening to you. We enjoyed your takes. We enjoy you going back and forth. We enjoy the callers. But, man, we didn't know that you were a handsome guy. And I'm not, arrogant. I'm not an arrogant person. I thank everybody, that says, hey, Joe, you're looking good. We see you. Salutes. Thank you, ladies. All right? Thank you. I appreciate you. All right? So if you want to check out what I got going on here, all right, you want to see the show live, you want to see the spectacle that is the Long Beach Joe Show, you want to hear the takes for yourself live, come on over to YouTube, type in Long Beach Joe Jets, Long Beach Joe Jets. Subscribe there, hit the notification bell, so when I post content, you'll be in the know. Also, give the videos a thumbs up. Because let me tell you something. You coming here live, it's a different type of time. It's a different experience because you're going to be dealing with the savages in the chat, okay? You want to know why I call my chat the savages? Because they're savage. Salutes to how about them Jets. Listen, my chat gets after it, all right? No one's safe. Not even me. If they don't like your take, they're going to let you know about it, okay? So I call them savages. Don't play around. I'm telling you, they'll destroy you, all right? So you're having a lot of fun, moving and shaking, a lot of things moving and popping. Salutes as well to those of you that listen to me on Blog Talk Radio, /Long Beach Joe Show. I want to thank y'all for that as well. Listen, a lot of things going on with the New York Jets, a lot of things happening, a lot of things moving and shaking, and we're going to get into it, all right? We're bouncing. Everything's feeling good. But before I get there, everyone knows I am a huge New York Jets fan, right? Thursday, the show's here. You see the two, people that are next to me, Sauce, A-Rod, they're in the building, all right? But I am not from New York, nor am I from the East Coast, okay? So I grew up on the West Coast my whole life, became a big Jets fan, and I've been all about the team since then. But there's people all around the world that are Jets fans as well that aren't on the East Coast either. And they find a way to gather people to come together and share their love for the team with others. They find other Jets brothers and sisters. They sit down on a weekly basis and watch games together and cheer this team on through thick and thin. So tonight we're going to have one of those people come on, and he's going to talk to us about what they're doing. we're going to have Adam Bartolo come on from the Virginia Jets fan club, and he's going to discuss to us what they do in Virginia, how they rep the Jets, and how they show their love. Adam, thank you for coming on the show tonight. Welcome to the Long Beach Joe Show. How are you doing today, my friend?
Joe, I'm doing fantastic. I want to, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's always a thrill, really, to get invited by you to hang with you and the Savages. And I want to say a special hello to everybody watching. And, some people call me Adam. Some call me WA2K99. I go by a number of names, usually because I need to keep hiding out and escaping. But I'm excited to talk some Jets with you tonight.
Absolutely, Adam. I'm fired up as well. Now, listen, let's start off with this. Explain to my audience how you became a fan of the New York Jets, man.
All right. So I was born in the early 80s, grew up in central New Jersey. I grew up in Edison, so pretty much right in the middle of the state, about 30 minutes south of the Meadowlands, we'll say. And I did not grow up in a big football household. My dad is a Dallas Cowboys fan, despite growing up in Brooklyn, New York. He has some weird allegiances in our family, no doubt about it. But my next door neighbor was a really big time Jets fan. His name was Tom. And I really grew up a big fan of the New York Mets in baseball, and that was the stadium I always went to. But really growing up, I was really a New York football fan in the 80s because both teams at the time really had some things that were really appealing. But the more I got into the Mets, it just felt like the natural fit was to go with the Jets, sort of like the second team, in the city, the more blue-collar fan, the one where, it develops your character to root for that team. I mean, I like rooting for teams where you don't have a bandwagon going on. And no doubt that is the situation with the New York Jets. And over the years, it's just grown stronger and stronger. And what you have now is a very devoted, passionate, crazy guy that you're speaking to right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, Adam, that's a story. That is a story. A lot of people fall in love with this team a lot of different ways. Some people just grow up in a household, and they just told from the time that they can remember, put this green jersey on, you're a Jets fan, that's in the discussion, you know what I'm saying? But you fell in love with the team naturally, and like you said, for years, there was no bandwagon here. You love the Jets, there's no bandwagon fans. We had some issues, but things are changing a little bit, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, okay? Because we've made some big moves. We acquired a big quarterback, and we've got some guys in the building that really I think is going to turn things around, but we'll talk about that in a second. Now I want to discuss with you your fan club, man. How did your fan club come about out there in Virginia?
It was something that I really was looking for because, I lived in Chicago for 20 years. I went to college in Boston. It's amazing that I'm alive after that experience. As a matter of fact, just on a side note, I got my 20-year college reunion in Boston coming up this fall. I have not been in that city in 19 years, and I'm telling you this, it is the week after the first Jets-Patriots game. It better be coming off a Jets victory. I don't even know if I can show my face in that region coming off another loss. But I'm so used to dealing with fans of other teams. Living in Chicago where I was, it's like 95% Bears, 4% Packers, and 1% everything else. I mean, it's sort of a Midwest thing, but people don't come there from all over the country. So we did have a Chicago Jets fans group down by Wrigley Field on Clark Street at a place called Country Club. So if you're ever in Chicago, check out Country Club. They got a great group there too. But it was difficult to get to because it was at least an hour drive, and that's without traffic. Tough to find parking, paying the Chicago prices. I mean, I'd spend as much time commuting down there as I did actually watching the game. And it wasn't something I could do all the time. So I had my local place in the west suburbs of Chicago that I loved going to, but I was always the only Jets fan there. And, if something happened, whether it was good or bad, believe me, the whole restaurant knew about it. I mean, that was just part of the deal. They just knew who I was. So then fast forward to 2017, and I decided to leave the Midwest. I wanted out. I was looking at a couple of places, wound up moving to Norfolk, Virginia, or the Norfolk area of Virginia. And I was looking up a Jets fans group, and I found the Virginia Jets fans. Now, this group was started back in 1990 by a guy named Sterling, who is like, he's a classic hippie. You know, it just Woodstock, tie-dye, I mean, everything. I mean, that's just him. You know, fantastic guy. He actually thinks drinking Natural Light is like the top beer you can actually drink. I mean, he's a crazy kind of guy. But so I find this place, and I start hanging out with the group, and within weeks I was leading the touchdown chants because of my energy. You know, so my rookie year, if you go to my trophy shelf, and I'm not making this up, I've got the Fireman Ed Award, and I've got the Rookie of the Year Award. That's how serious this group is. I mean, we're talking award ceremonies and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's serious business. It's a big deal. And fast forward about 2 years later, Sterling moved down to Florida, where he is today, and they were looking for a new president. One guy was there 6 months, but in that position, but he moved away down in North Carolina, and they gave me the spot. And I've been president of the group now for 3 years. And on Facebook, I'll tell you what, the Virginia Jets fans, we've got about 750 people right now as part of the group. I'll tell you one of the things that's so cool about it, it's not just about football, it's about family. Because it's not just meeting for 17 regular season games. You know, we have an off season. We have events. We go to baseball games, hockey games. Last year we did axe throwing together. You know, we did a draft party on Thursday night. On the Saturday, we did our chili cook-off and watched the third day of the draft together. You know, and so those have been some of the big moments, but I've gotten much more into the graphic design lately, and I've started to, you know, create a little bit of a YouTube presence and design stuff, trying to make stuff a little bit more slick. But, you know, we love having people come in because Virginia, I'll explain this. Norfolk, Virginia is a very heavy military area. People move here from all over the country all the time. So that's one reason it was so easy for me to fit in, because you have a lot of New Yorkers and whatnot that come down here. So it's been an absolute blessing for me to find this group.
Yeah. Listen, Adam, where can people hang out with you? Where do you folks meet? How do you folks get together?
Yeah, so the easiest way to find us, first of all, on social media is on Facebook at the Virginia Jets fans. But we watch our games at AJ Gators on Shore Drive, which is in the north part of Norfolk. It's a little strip mall, basically right across the street from the beach. And, we've got our own corner there. We got plenty of TVs. The food's really good. If you know Green Bean, he has come down a couple of times from Charlottesville because he lives a couple of hours away. And he's a little bit of a wing connoisseur. He's ordered the Gates of Hell wings, and he keeps raving about them because they're not just hot. They've got flavor. So it's good food, good drinks, good service. Yeah, it's a great place to hang out and watch football. It really is. So AJ Gators on Shore Drive in Norfolk.
Awesome. And again, we're speaking with Adam Bartolo of the Virginia Jets Fans Club. He's given us some great knowledge about everything that they do there in Virginia with the fan club and how they put things together. Now, Adam, earlier you talked about the club not just being about loving the team, right? You folks cheer the Jets on through and through. But it's also about being family. You connect with each other, okay? And I know that myself, right, when you're in an area like you are in Virginia, having that connection with other Jets fans is big because, boy, it can get rough out there, all right? Virginia, there's a lot of, you know, Washington football team fans. There's a lot of Cowboys fans. There's a lot of just miscellaneous fans. But one thing I noticed, they all love to dump on the Jets, at least when I was there. That's what they enjoy doing, okay? When they saw me in my green and white jersey, it was the Jets are trash. The Jets suck. Hey, how could you be a fan of the Jets? It was just, you know, constant comments, and I would have to respond the way I needed to respond, okay? Now, for you, Adam, what is it like being a Jet fan in your local area out there in VA?
It's not as bad. Put it this way. You know, I was able to kind of slip under the radar in the Midwest because nobody had any real reason to like or hate the Jets where I was. But now it's crazy. You'll drive down the road and you will see every single team if you look hard enough. You know, you mentioned Washington, you mentioned Dallas, but you still got a lot of fans here from Philly. You got a lot of Philly fans who moved down here. You got Pittsburgh fans from all over the place. You know, you'll see some New England as well. But there really isn't. I mean, most teams are pretty well represented in this area. So yeah, you can definitely find that connection. You know, now by no means are the Jets a bandwagon team, although I wouldn't mind them becoming a bandwagon team. That just means that they're doing well. But we talk about it. It's like, you know, there's no such thing as a bandwagon Jets fan. There hasn't been, but I got a feeling that kind of might start. But I'll tell you another thing I've noticed. People who hate Aaron Rodgers, they now hate the Jets as well. You know, we're no longer like the lovable losers. We're like, people either love us or hate us right now. I'm noticing sharp, serious, firm opinions on the Jets, and I don't think it's been that way since Rex was coaching. I think it's been well over a decade since the Jets were in that situation.
Yeah, listen, I keep telling people with the moves we made, we are now, you know, the team that a lot of people are circling on that schedule. We got 6 primetime games, Adam. 6, could be 7. I think they might flex one of our games. We're going to be on TV. We're going to be everywhere. Okay. And now, listen, we've talked to you about your fan club. Everything you folks are doing there in Virginia, I want everybody to get involved with everything you folks do. But I want to talk to you about this team. I'm chomping at the bit to discuss the things that we've done and the moves that we've made. You started to talk about Aaron Rodgers. That fired me up. Like we said, all eyes are on us now. We are now the team that everybody's going to be looking at to beat. They're circling us on the schedule. They know every single time the Jets roll in, everybody and their mama is going to be watching that game because of the man, Aaron Rodgers. Give me your thoughts and your feelings on Aaron Rodgers now being the New York Jets quarterback. I mean, isn't it surreal? Has it hit you yet that he really is our quarterback now?
No. The simple answer to that question is no. I could put it this way. I brought a black Aaron Rodgers fashion jersey, so it's pretty cool. It's actually got it's a black jersey which actually says Jets on the chest instead of New York, which I got to tell you, I really prefer. I like that. That's like the biggest thing, not to get off track, but the biggest gripe I have with our uniforms is it doesn't say Jets anywhere but the helmet. But the numbers are green with a white outline. So it's a little bit of a different look. It's a little sharper to me. But that is only the second Jets jersey I brought in 15 years. That tells you all you really need to know. You know, it's still – because we knew for a while it was probably going to happen. But, I mean, it wasn't exhilaration when it finally came down. It was relief. The number one emotion for me is just relief. Like, okay, because, you know, let's be honest. The Jets had painted themselves into a corner where it was Rodgers or nothing. I had no interest in drafting a quarterback at all. You know, Derek Carr, you could have made the argument for, but the Jets felt that it was worth taking a chance to basically allow New Orleans to sign him and to take the chance of trying to get the big prize. And it's amazing to me that the Jets not only wanted him, but he wanted the Jets. I mean, as New York Jets fans, how often were we even in a position to get a player like this? An all-time bona fide legend of the game. In my mind, the most talented quarterback, physically gifted quarterback I've seen maybe in my lifetime. For me, it's like him and Peyton Manning. That's it for me over the last 30 years, I would say. That's how good. I think those two are above in terms of everything they bring to the table. You know, also, you know, when you factor in his strength, his competitive fire, his mobility, his accuracy, his calmness, his poise, Rodgers is an absolute package. And the fact that it doesn't matter what I do. I can watch the press conferences. I can watch the Pat McAfee show over again. I can watch Flight 2023. I can follow him on Instagram. I don't know if it's even going to hit me until September 11th around 8 o'clock when he runs onto the field for the first time on that Monday night game against the Buffalo Bills. It is still absolutely surreal, but, man, I am so excited because now we have legit expectations, not just blind hope, not just blind faith, but legitimate confidence that we're going to have an exciting season.
Yeah, and the thing that absolutely sold me on him the most, right? Of course, everyone knows I loved Aaron Rodgers prior to him even becoming a Jet. All right, that's well known. But the fact that he got here, and from the time that he got into this building, he told people, listen, raise your expectations, prepare yourselves, get ready. We're going to get on this field. And from day one, it was all business. Came into, did the voluntary workouts, got with guys. You see him on the sidelines teaching guys, him and Nathaniel Hackett. They're letting guys know, hey, this is where you need to be. This is what you need to do. If things are not going the way they should be going on the offensive side of the ball, he will stop things. Post-snap, break things out, say, hey, look, this is where you need to be. This is where you need to go. He's directing guys. He's breaking film down with guys. He's in the film room letting guys know where they need to be within the offense. Guys new and old are learning from him. Veterans and new guys are, picking his brain. C.J. Uzomah talked about how he's learning every single day about stuff within the ticks of the offense and how Aaron Rodgers has impacted him as well as far as bringing up his knowledge of the game. That's crazy because he could have came in here and big timed us. He could have, he didn't have to show up to the voluntary stuff. He didn't have to do that. He could have just came in here and said, yeah, I'm going to, do my business. We'll figure things out during the season, and we'll work ourselves into a lap there, and we'll get going. No, he's coming in here to get things done. He's coming in here to win, and he's let people know that from the jump. And not just that, right? We talk about the impact that he has, but he's also talked about the impact that he wants to have on Zach Wilson. A lot of people want to throw him out the door, and I get it. He hasn't showing up the way that we would have hoped that he had, especially with the high draft pick. It's not over yet, though. The door's not closed on him. But Aaron Rodgers has impacted him as well. He's talked about, Zach Wilson has talked about how he goes to Aaron and he picks his brain and he tries to figure things out, and he's learning so much within the offense every single day. And Aaron himself even said that one of his duties, one of the things he feels like he's responsible for outside of just playing well on the field is preparing Zach Wilson so that when his time is done and he's ready to move on, maybe 2 years from now or 3 years from now or whenever, he's going to try his damn best to make sure that Zach Wilson is going to be prepared to take the reins when he goes. Adam, give me your thoughts about that, man. That's what has really shocked me about Aaron Rodgers is his brand of leadership and what he's brought to the Jets. Give me your thoughts on that, man.
It's like having another head coach. Almost, because he is a player, he demands respect. There's no choice whether or not you're going to listen to Aaron Rodgers. If you're not going to listen to Aaron Rodgers, put it this way, if Aaron Rodgers can't make you a better player on offense, who can? Aaron Rodgers, I'll give you an example. Aaron Rodgers has thrown touchdown passes to 47 different players. If I went through the list of guys who have caught a touchdown from him, you'd be like, who is this guy? I mean, like the Jake Kumerows of the world, the Jeff Janices of the world, guys like this, people that nobody outside of a diehard Packers fan would know. He can elevate players to be that much better than what we perceive them to be. So to me, there isn't a single player on offense I'm like, well, this guy, he can't contribute. I have so much more confidence in what this offense can potentially do. And here's the other thing, the depth. Look how deep this offensive line is. How many years have we been watching Jets games? Let's just talk about preseason games. I'm not even talking regular season. But when the second-line offensive line comes in, they get abused over and over and over again. But think about, we have 11 or 12 legitimate offensive linemen that can be on this roster. That is one of the things I'm most excited about, is the way that the Jets have built up depth at the most important positions. If you look at the biggest questions on this roster right now, what are you going to go towards? Safety, linebacker, positions that, you would like to be good. Is Breece Hall going to be ready to start week one? These are positions you want to be good, but if they're not, they're not the most important positions in the world. And for years, our best players, our top draft picks were safeties, linebackers, running backs, guys like this. It was a foolish way to build a team. It was not a smart way. to sustain a quality team. And we're still dealing with a little bit of that, but we've seen what Joe Douglas has done in terms of changing the priorities of the scouts, of the coaches, and that is what appealed to Aaron Rodgers. He believed in Nathaniel Hackett. He believes in Robert Saleh for sure, and he sees the vision that Joe Douglas is creating with the talent that they have. Remember a year ago, the Jets and Packers not only played, but they scrimmaged together. Aaron Rodgers got to see these guys up close, and that's what caught his attention. This thing didn't start a couple months ago. This thing has been going on for over a year. Aaron Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay for years. He finally got his wish, and man, oh man, can you believe the idea just even 3 years ago that the Jets would have Aaron Rodgers? It's crazy. It's like I must have been playing Madden. I mean, what am I talking about here? So, Yeah. And so Rodgers raises the profile of the whole team, not just, the offense, but it's the whole perception of the franchise and how it feels to be a Jets fan. I go out now with a Jets fan. I mean, I don't get like a sad shake of the head or like a sarcastic smile being like, you guys got to be pretty excited for this year. That's what I get now as a Jets fan, and it's because of number 8, but he wouldn't be here if not for the change in leadership at the top of the organization.
Exactly, and that's exactly where I was going to go. I think that speaks to the fact that of how well of a job Joe Douglas has done building this football team, and it also speaks to how good of a job Robert Saleh has done as well, right? The second that we hired Robert Saleh, guys around the league were like, the Jets got this right. I mean, guys that were not on our team at all, Richard Sherman, I remember vividly coming out. There was other guys around the league as well saying, the Jets got this right. They got a darn good coach in that building. And, I'm excited to see him go there and succeed. And we even saw the presence of Robert Saleh attract players to come here. C.J. Uzomah talked about it. Coming here because, look, I see what the Jets are building, and I like the head coach. DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, various other players, when they came in and said, listen, I'm here because Coach Saleh is here, and I know he's going to put me in a position to make plays, and I know that this team is on the rise. I remember the days when we used to have to dramatically – I'm talking about dramatically overpay players to come here. And those days, this is not happening. Joe Douglas is not going to get fleeced, brother. Like, you're going to get compensated fairly. But this is not Mike McCagnon. Those days are over, and it's because of the change, like you said, in leadership, the change in structure. We're no longer a clown show organization, and we're addressing positions of impact. I used to talk about this constantly, and I would just get railed because of it. People, Joe, you don't have to build a team like that. No, positions of impact, offensive line, which is extremely important. Corner, he went and got Sauce. Wide receiver, he went and got Garrett Wilson. You look at all these things, these weapons, these positions of impact, pass rush. We have various guys, Carl Lawson and Huff and Will McDonald, who he just drafted. All of this is accumulated into a change, a complete change, so much so that a Hall of Fame quarterback, Aaron Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback, a first ballot Hall of Famer, has said, yes, the New York Jets, that's where I want to be, and that's where I want to play. Okay? That's
and you talked about the overpaying. I want to say that you talked about the overpaying. Think about who we were overpaying. Avery Williamson, C.J. Mosley, linebackers. Meanwhile, who were we getting to play tackle? Like Kelvin Beachum, nice player, but we drafted, during the whole Isaac McCagnon era, 2 or 3 offensive linemen over that entire period. It was all backwards. It was all backwards. Yeah. And I remember telling people that. They didn't want to hear it. Nobody wanted to hear it, baby. When I was saying, listen, Mike McCagnon needs to get fired. We need to get a way better GM in here. You cannot build a team around a safety. Jamal Adams got to go. Get him out of here. People did not like that. But Joe Douglas has made moves, and things have changed. Now, we're talking about moving and shaking, bringing guys in here. We signed some guys this offseason, Adam. Who was your favorite free agent signing from this current offseason? It's an interesting question because this was not an offseason where the Jets had, boatloads of salary cap space to spend. I mean, they really only signed, I think, Lazard over the first, 3 days or so. For me, the most exciting free agent has to be Tim Boyle. No, I'm just kidding. I would probably go with McCole Hardman. I like that he's coming from Kansas City and that he has a knack for playing in big games. He has the ability to be a good returner, but I think he's going to be that burner that this offense has, for the most part, lacked. You know, he can get over the top of a defense, and I think he's really going to make these defenses play honest. You know, of course I like signing Alan Lazard. I think Quentin Jefferson's a pretty good defensive tackle. A lot of these signings go with depth, especially for the offensive line. I just think McCole Hardman has a big upside. Not that he's going to finish first on the team in yardage or touchdowns or targets or receptions or anything like that, but I think this is a player that you can use in a number of ways, not only as a returner, but as sort of a gadget player who can – he's like Braxton Berrios, but a much better. I think he's going to be a much better Berrios, better hands, you know, better size. I think this is a player who's going to make a pretty big impact as long as this offense knows how to use them, what kind of formation to put him in. So I would go with Hardman. Yeah,
I think McCole, I'm telling you, he's going to come in, like you said, as well, and be that weapon X. We're going to move him around a lot. We're going to see, you know, jet sweeps with him, handing the ball off to him. I think Nathaniel Hackett's going to utilize him in various different ways, moving him around in that slot as well. I'm telling you, I think he's going to be able to pick apart some defenses. And like you said, he's a guy that can move. This is a guy that can fly. So that explosive type of option is really going to benefit the New York Jets, especially, again, you got Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football. You know what I'm saying? So that ball's going to get there accurately, okay, and on time, all right? Now, as we continue to talk about this football team, I want to talk to you about the draft, man. I did a live draft show, Adam, and let me tell you, people were not happy about Will McDonald initially when he was selected, okay? I looked at some of the Savages, and they were like, I don't like this. There was other guys you should have taken. We should have traded down. We should have did this. Give me your thoughts about Will McDonald, and tell me who your favorite New York Jets draft pick was from this recent draft.
You know, the whole process has become more and more fascinating as time has gone on, because we had a draft party at AJ Gators with the Virginia Jets fans, and it's actually pretty funny. So I'll tell you a little story about it. So we do a raffle, and what I do is write down a bunch of players' names, draft prospects' names, put them on a piece of paper, put everything into a hat, and everybody at the party got like 2 or 3 slips of paper. So whichever player's name was the first Jets draft pick, they would win a prize. Okay? The funny thing about that is I wrote down 40 names. Will McDonald was not among them. That's how off the radar he was.
I don't think anybody really linked him to the Jets at all. I don't remember people talking about him. Of course, people talked about him pre-draft, but not coming to the Jets.
No, I mean, I knew of him. I figured he was maybe an early second-round pick. I could have seen that happening, but I didn't see defensive end. I wanted to address defensive tackle. I wanted to address offensive tackle, you know, more than anything. But now that we've figured out a little bit more as we go along, we've seen now that Joe Douglas foresaw what was going to happen. He saw Pittsburgh trading up, and so I think Broderick Jones. And apparently Broderick was not that high on the Jets' wish list. They wanted him, but they weren't completely head over heels for him. I still think Paris Johnson was the player they really wanted. If they could have had their pick, I really think it was going to be him, but it was never realistic. So that was a little bit of a blow. I was interested. There have been so many rumors that have been fascinating. I mean, Michael Mayer, the tight end, who I like a lot, but I think this tight end room is so deep. I just don't see where there would have been room. We've heard rumors in the past about Gibbs, the running back. I mean, I don't know how they could have ever drafted a running back in the first round. To me would not have made sense. So when the McDonald pick happened, it was initial surprise, but the more I thought about it and the more I looked into it, the more sense it made. So I'll give you a number or two. The Jets finished 5th in the league last year in sacks. They had 45 sacks, which is not a bad number. But if you look at hurry percentage, they finished 22nd. So what that tells you is the Jets didn't get to the quarterback as often as other teams did. But when they actually did, they got the sack. Now, you look ahead at the schedule that we got to face this year. We got to face Mahomes, Herbert, Hurts, Josh Allen twice. There's some big boys. There's some very talented quarterbacks that the Jets got to face who are on the schedule. So Deshaun Watson. So when you do that, you know what? Why not up the pass rush? Because the Jets have the depth, but maybe they don't have that, that upper echelon guy. So Carl Lawson, his contract's coming up. Bryce Huff, his contract's coming up. So one of the things the Jets are going to do is to keep building up this pipeline of edge rushers. We know the Jets are going to have 10 defensive linemen on this roster. There is no way around that. And McDonald is just going to be another piece, and we'll see what kind of usage he gets early on. But the more the time has gone on, the more I get it. Now, I'll run through the other ones. My favorite pick was probably Joe Tippmann. I wanted a center in the worst way. I was very, very happy that the Jets were able to get him. They clearly valued him over John Michael Schmitz, and I think that's who most Jets fans were hoping would fall to that draft spot. But they took Tippmann. Love it. Love the mullet. All good. Most of the other guys I didn't know a whole lot about. I mean, Carter Warren I wasn't very familiar with. The big thing with him is injury history. I kind of look at him like I would Max Mitchell last year. This should be hopefully a redshirt season for him, to sort of refine his game, refine his footwork, and hopefully he can have a big role on the team next season. Israel, running back, love the speed, the fact that he was a sprinting champion, the fact that he's a New Yorker. I like all of that. Zaire Barnes and Jarek Bernard-Converse. Well, the backside of this defense, especially in the middle, it needs some speed. I still don't know if this is a team that is going to be very good at coverage, particularly in the middle of the field when it comes to tight ends, running backs, and things like that. So I'm hoping those guys will be able to play a role. As a matter of fact, I think Jarek Bernard-Converse might be in that Jason Pinnock sort of role where the Jets might work on converting him over to a safety. So that's something I would look at. But I got to spend 1 minute and talk about my guy, Zach Kuntz. Now, just truth be told, Zach Kuntz went to Old Dominion University. The Virginia Jets fans, we have season tickets to ODU football. So I got to be honest with you. This is,
as we know,
this is our guy. We have adopted Zach Kuntz as our guy. So we have adopted Zach, no doubt about it, as our guy. We really hope he makes the roster. His athleticism is off the chart. He is very raw. He still needs to learn how to play the game. I have no idea. He has a very low floor, but a very high ceiling. But the fact that he feels like our guy, oh man, we're gonna be riding it with Zach Kuntz. He'll be like our ride or die Jet, no question about it.
Yeah, listen. I think Zach will see what happens with him. Again, we're loaded at tight end with Ruckert, Uzama. Then you got Conklin as well. We'll see what happens going forward. But let me tell you something. When Will McDonald was selected, I was surprised he wasn't the guy that I thought we were going to go after. But once Broderick was taken off of the board, and I personally believe that if Broderick was there, the Jets would have drafted him. I know people want to go with this narrative that the Jets would have taken Will McDonald anyway. I don't personally think that, and I think there's some clues to that. I've talked about that in the past as well. But Will McDonald being in the building is a good move for the New York Jets because, like you said as well, you look at where we're trying to go in this league. If you can't rush the passer, because as of right now, the Super Bowl runs through Kansas City. If you can't find some way to get to Patrick Mahomes and bring him down, you're going to have a long day against them. And the Bills in our division is a team that was looking at the situation and said, hey, look, we're going to go up against this team, every year it feels like if we're trying to get to a Super Bowl. What did they do? They went and got Von Miller. They already had a good, pass rush. They had guys over there that was getting it done. But they said we need to keep up in the ante because we got to find some way to get to this guy in Kansas City and get him down. So when you look at us, we should be doing the exact same thing. You have to get edge pressure in this league. If you don't, man, you're going to have a long day. And even if it's good, it doesn't matter. Get better. We saw the Giants in our backyard. The Giants won a Super Bowl like that, right? Waves of pass rushers, Strahan, OCU Manura. They were just throwing guys at you, and they got them a ring. So I like the pick. I like what he brought in here. I wasn't as upset as others were about Will McDonald, but I think everybody kind of calmed down once they really started to see what he could bring to the table. And even talking about him in college, you know, he wasn't necessarily played. A lot of people talked about him being played out of position, and that even, you know, he was still succeeding, but if he was utilized better within the defense, boy, oh boy, you could really unleash. But he's a long guy. He's got a lot of bend, and he's got a lot of speed to him, so I'm excited. Listen, Adam, it's been phenomenal speaking to you tonight. Before I let you go, give my callers, give my listeners all of the information to get involved with you, the Virginia Jets fan club, and also tell us about your YouTube. You haven't said nothing about that. Tell us about your YouTube and everything you're doing on here as well.
All right. Well, thank you for that again, Joe. So you can reach out to the Virginia Jets fans at the Virginia Jets fans on Facebook. That's the best way to get a hold of us. You're more than welcome to join. And, hey, even if you don't live in Virginia, if you ever want, if you're ever in the area, you're more than welcome to join us. And, hey, even if you're in the Northeast, you could always take an Amtrak train down to Virginia from as north as Boston. It goes all the way down into coastal Virginia. And, yeah, you are always more than welcome to join us. So we meet at AJ Gators on Shore Drive in Norfolk, Virginia. And like I said, it's more than just about the game days. You know, we have a whole off season. Our next event is going to be the Family Fun Day, which is our annual pool party, and that's going to be on July 22nd. And we're actually going to be hanging out, it looks like, with the local Browns fans for the Hall of Fame game in early August. Yeah, they got quite a group. They, pretty much, put it this way, they are as blue-collar and as roughneck as you would expect a Cleveland Browns fan group to be. They literally live up to all the hype. God bless them. I got to say that. So, and as far as my YouTube goes, you could find me at NY Sports Wicker Media. So NY Sports Wicker Media. And I've been doing that channel now for a little over a year, and we are at well over 600 subscribers, which is fantastic. I try to talk a whole lot of New York sports, a whole lot of teams. So now my teams tend to be the Mets, the Jets, the Rangers, and the Knicks. But if something moves me, I'm going to talk about it. I've done some pro wrestling on there. I've done some U.S. soccer during the World Cup. Done some Devils, done some Yankees. So, yeah, whatever moves me, I'll talk about it. But probably one of the next big things I got planned, next weekend I'm going to be spending a weekend in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Mets will be there. I'll be going to a game or two and kind of eating my way through the city. So my plan is to kind of video that trip a little bit. So you might have to watch me eat a little bit, but I'll be trying a whole lot of food, and I plan on having one heck of a time. So check that out at NY Sports Wicker Media.
All right. Listen, Adam, I want to thank you for calling in tonight and sharing, all your love for the football team and also enlightening everyone about what you folks are doing there in Virginia. I'm going to let you go. You have yourself a good night, my friend.
All right. Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and go Jets.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen again. That was Adam Bartolo of the Virginia Jets fan club. Get involved with them any way that you can. Get on over to Facebook, type in Virginia Jets fans, and, get involved with their Facebook, man. They're a passionate group. He's a passionate fan as well. Always love speaking football with him, talking about the New York Jets. So with that put to the side, time talking to Adam, but now we've got to move forward because, boy, oh, boy, do we have quite a bit to talk about. We're going to come to the callers in just a second. We're going to cover, some slight things here. Again, so everybody, Steve, Rusty, Jake, everybody, hold on a second. New caller, hold on. New callers, excuse me. Hold on. We'll get to everybody. Trust. All right. Yep. The New York Jets have had an injury. All right. We've had an injury. We already had questions at the safety position, right? That was one of the concerns that everyone had. Well, Chuck Clark has gone down, which is, believed to be an ACL injury. It's reported that he may have torn his ACL or suffered a big knee injury. Now, again, he is looking to get a second opinion. The results from that second opinion have not come out yet, at least not publicly. but it is believed that his ACL is torn and that he will miss significant time, if not all, of next season. And what's crazy about this situation with Chuck Clark is that, to this point, he hadn't ever missed a game due to injury, okay? He's played in 96 of 98 possible games since he entered the league in 2017. He was he was an Iron Man. He was a warrior, very, very durable, ends up injuring his knee again. I keep saying I hope it's not as bad as what has been reported, but, immediately Joe Douglas responded to this injury with signing Adrian Amos. Okay, now Adrian Amos is a safety. He gave him a 1-year deal. The deal is up to $4 million, for the 1 year. Now, keep in mind, Amos is 30 years old, and he also played with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He's a former Packer as well, all right? And once that happens, some people try to light things. Oh, Aaron Rodgers probably meant. Aaron Rodgers didn't make them do this, okay? Don't start that nonsense. Don't start these shenanigans, okay? Aaron Rodgers, is here, but they made the signing because Amos is a solid safety, all right? So now keep in mind he started, every game the past, 5 seasons that he's been playing, so everything's looking good there. Now, Amos, before, but he was primarily a strong safety with the Packers. Now, if you look at the situation, it makes you wonder, he comes here, I'm guessing he's going to be moved back to the free safety position, and they're going to keep Whitehead as strong safety. That's what I'm guessing, right? But we'll see what happens, continuing to go forward. When you look at the Jets safety situation, though, really, the only kind of starting caliber guys is Whitehead, Amos, Clark. Those are kind of only the starting caliber guys. We do have other guys as well, of course, at that safety position, Tony Adams, Trey Dean, the third, Marquise Waters, Jarek Bernard Converse, who's a guy we just drafted. I think he's a guy that is probably going to be moved around within that safety role, probably too. We all know that Sulla likes to, kind of rotate back there and move guys around and out. And Jarek Bernard does have, some experience within that safety position, at least in college. He played, back there as well. And this is coming off of the heels of us, just cutting Will Parks as well. So he's gone off the Jets roster. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Sulla and Alberts do and how they handle the defense on the back end at that safety position. But it sucks to see Chuck Clark go down. We'll see what happens going forward. So we're going to get to the lines, 515-602-9639, 515-602-9639. A lot of things moving, a lot of things shaking around the Jets as well. Craig Carton also reported that Aaron Rodgers turned down a Patriots trade. Rumors swirling, man. Again, we know Craig Carton in the past has said some things. There were some talks about the 49ers stepping in to grab Aaron Rodgers if the Jets didn't get the deal done immediately. I remember that stuff, okay? Now, do I believe this report from Craig Carton? Not really. I'm keeping it all the way real, okay? Maybe possibly the Patriots might have inquired about it, but to be completely honest, we knew the teams that were in on Aaron Rodgers from the jump. We knew. And it's been reported from the jump that the Jets were the team that stood out the most, and they were the team from the jump that really wanted him, and a lot of teams were good on it and pulled back, all right? So we're going to get your thoughts on that. According to Craig Carton, he told the Patriots and the Packers, if you trade me to New England, I'm going to retire. I don't know, man. I don't know about that report, all right? So we're going to get to it. Also, the Jets are practicing, okay? We're going to have joint practices with the Bucs and the Panthers, but not the Giants this season as well. That's interesting. No Giants, okay, just Bucs and Panthers. So we'll see what's going on. So I want to get to the callers again. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. We're taking our callers. First caller I'm going to is my guy, Steve. Steve, I'm coming directly to you. Rusty will come to you in a second. We're coming directly to Steve. Steve's the early bird. For those of you that do not know, Steve, he's a savage. I mean, he's a savage. Damn, Steve. Savage, man. I had to get that Jets chant off first. calling in tonight. Listen, we're talking Jets, man. A lot of things moving and shaking around the New York Jets. Chuck Clark goes down with a knee injury. Jets sign Adrian Amos. How are you feeling about that, man? What are your thoughts about the safety position now?
Hey, Joe. Well, first of all, thank you again for having me on your show tonight. It's always great talking to you. And listen, I don't care if you push the wrong button or not. Listen, it's all good, man. Okay. So anyway, obviously, we're at this time of the year now. The Jets are on their vacation now. This is the time when there's not really going to be any news in the NFL until when we get closer to July and all that stuff, like next month in July. But the thing is, as you mentioned, Joe, obviously Chuck Clark went down with an injury. It must have happened on the last day of practice, and apparently we didn't find this out until the next day after Jets had their final practice of their OTAs. And the thing is, listen, we don't know what the full injury is yet. I know Chuck Clark said that he's looking to get, a second option, obviously, to see, if he could play through it. But you know what? Signing Adrian Amos, obviously, was really, really smart. I mean, I've watched his highlights before, when he played in Green Bay. He's also played in Chicago. He is a really good safety. He's not, listen, is he the best safety in the league? No, but he is a good partner for Jordan Whitehead, though. And the thing is, I know the safety position has been a lacking position for us for the last couple of years for us. But but I did like the signing of Adrian Amos.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid move, especially again. Chuck Clark goes down. He was a guy that we all were excited about, a guy that Joe Douglas was able to get really for next to nothing, and a guy that we really thought was going to be able to come in here and make an impact. He, was a solid safety there with the Ravens before we were actually able to grab him, from them. So it sucks to see him go down, man. But again, we got, Adrian in the building. He's going to be able to fill a role. It's going to be interesting to see, how they handle him again. I think he's a guy that they're probably going to put at the free safety spot. They're probably going to leave Whitehead at that strong safety spot, but we'll see. But as we continue to talk about this defense, Steve, the safety position now, with Amos here, that's looking like it's going to be okay. But when you look at the Jets' pass rushing situation, I got a question for you, man. What Jets defensive players do you think we'll see have double-digit sacks this upcoming season?
Well, I do hope, though, when he gets his contract signed, I think Quinnen Williams could have a double-digit sack season this year. I also think Carl Lawson could have a double-digit sack season this year. And, heck, you know what? I'm going to take this as a risk of a pick, but I think Will McDonald could have a double-digit sack. I mean, obviously, obviously, with Will McDonald, the thing is that, Joe, the other day, I was actually watching some of Will McDonald's highlights the other day from when he was at Iowa State, and now I can understand why Joe Douglas picked him at number 15. And the thing is, I know a lot of Jet fans at first, as the guy from Virginia who was just on, I listened to his whole thing, he said that, everybody, a lot of Jet fans I know did not like the Will McDonald pick. Everybody all thought the Will McDonald thing was a reach. Listen, it is a slight reach that Joe Douglas did make. It's the very, very first time he ever did a slight reach on a player like him. But you know something, Joe? He has very, very quick speed. He's also very, very fast. And, heck, even during the OTAs, he was actually making a really good first impression at the OTAs. Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him. Again, we saw him, during the drills, running, moving, and shaking. Yeah. Well, now, when you talk about double-digit sacks for Will McDonald, Steve, how many sacks are you talking, man? Are we talking in the early teens? Are we talking late teens? What are we talking here when you say double-digit sacks?
I would say in the early teens.
How early are you talking?
I would
Give me
say
a number, because I'm interested
11,
now.
12.
Give me a number.
11
or 12 for Will? Okay, you're thinking he gets 11 or 12 his rookie year. All right. I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing, Joe. If that does happen,
go ahead.
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to deny him of that if he's putting that type of pressure in. I mean, maybe it happens again. These different packages, if he catches heat. Again, Jermaine Johnson's the guy that's coming on as well. I think he'll take a step forward, too. We'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see how they utilize Will McDonald. But if he does catch heat and he gets rolling, maybe he puts together some numbers. Steve. Now, we're talking about a lot of things here as well. I want to go to the offense with you. There's been a report put out about Aaron Rodgers. A lot of talk about him supposedly turning a trade down to go to New England. Supposedly, New England was talking with the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers shut it down and said, hey, listen, Packers, if you trade me to New England, I will retire, okay? What are your thoughts about this report from Craig Carton? Do you think it's true? Do you think it's nonsense? How do you feel about it?
Listen, I don't know if it's true or not, Joe. I really, really, really don't know if it's true or not. Because I think if let's say if it was true, Aaron Rodgers would come out and say it because you know what it is. He doesn't want to see Bill Belichick win another ring. I think if it was a true statement, he wouldn't want to give Bill Belichick another ring. And the thing is that everybody would all even said that if Aaron Rodgers would play for the Patriots, it would be like another dynasty for them. But the other thing that I look at this situation, Joe, is, in my opinion, I really, 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 really don't think it's that very true and necessary. I just think that guy just likes to say those things to just get attention. But, But I guess so, Joe.
Yeah, that could be. Hold on, Steve. That could be true because he did. I remember, again, there was a recent report that he put out as well. It was before we got Aaron Rodgers. And he was talking about the Niners would step in and snatch Aaron Rodgers from the Jets. And I was like, I don't know about that, right? We knew that Aaron Rodgers had publicly said he would never play for San Francisco. We also knew that Aaron Rodgers, also not only did not want to go there, but they couldn't afford Aaron Rodgers either when you look at their cap situation. And they already had a bunch of quarterbacks already there. So it was like, what spot exactly, was Aaron Rodgers going to fill there? They wouldn't be able to afford him. He doesn't want to go there. And the Packers couldn't send him to anywhere he didn't want to go. And they already had quarterbacks. So it was like, the whole hurry up and make the trade Jets or San Francisco is going to snatch, that was kind of a nonsensical rumor as well that he was reporting to. But, I don't necessarily believe it myself. But, he keeps putting it out there. But I'll tell you what, the fact that Aaron Rodgers chose the Jets, okay, aside from the rumors about New England, the fact that he chose the Jets shows you that this place has changed. It's changed quite a bit, all right, because he could have gone somewhere else. There were other teams interested at certain points, but from the jump, he said, hey, the Jets are where I want to be. I want to play for this football team. He went on Pat McAfee and told him, hey, listen, I want to play for the Jets. I've told the Packers I want to play for the Jets, and now look where he is. He's here in a green and white jersey doing work, Steve. Give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, no, it's really, really great how he is doing work, like with the Jets, and especially with the fact that he helped volunteer, like he decided to go to the OTAs because obviously he wanted to learn. He wanted to show like all the new players about like what him and Nathaniel Hackett had done when they were in Green Bay together, and and even Zach Wilson came out in an interview and literally said this, that he is liking the system of Nathaniel Hackett more than the 2 years that he's been under Michael LaFleur. Zach Wilson even came out and literally said that, and remember, one of the reasons why the Jets have not been good for many, many years is when we get an offensive coordinator, like a new offensive coordinator, it's always someone very new at the job at the beginning. We've never had a well-experienced offensive coordinator, never. And that's been another one of the reasons why we haven't been that good of a team. And now that we finally do, we finally have it. Now we can't wait to see it. But now, like I said, Joe, this is now the time of the year where things are kind of quiet now. And there's actually one last thing I'll bring up before you say the next thing to me. So our former Jets general manager, Mike Tannenbaum, came out and literally said this. Yes, he gave the Jets an A for what they've done in the offseason, but here's the thing. He gave them an F for not having mandatory minicamp. And remember when Robert Saleh decided to cancel the mandatory minicamp because because obviously this was supposed to be the week we were supposed to have the mandatory minicamp. It's the final 3 practices before we go on the time off. The reason why Coach Saleh chose to do all of that is because he wanted the players to get some time to rest. And also, in case if you do remember, Joe, we are scheduled to play in the Hall of Fame game the first Thursday in August this year. Because remember, we do have an extra preseason game on the preseason schedule this year.
Yeah. No, listen, I understand that, but I was the guy that, and I still think that we still should have had a mandatory minicamp. We still should have done that. Because the thing is here, there's a lot of pressure on the New York Jets, okay? There's a lot of expectations on the New York Jets this season as well. I talked about it recently. 6 primetime games, 6, and it could possibly be 7 if one gets flexed in. Everybody and their mama is going to be watching us because Aaron Rodgers is here. We're going to be all over ESPN, NFL, Network, anything that has to do with football. The New York Jets is going to be there, right? Whether we win big or we fail, they're going to put us on the front page of everything. A lot of Jets fans are screaming Super Bowl or bust. The expectations have been raised tremendously here, okay? People are talking about this left and right. Here's the deal. We are also ushering in a new-ish offense, okay, with Nathaniel Hackett coming here. Is there a lot of things that are being held over from Mike LaFleur? Yeah, but the verbiage is different. Guys are having to learn how to run routes differently. There's still a lot of moving parts as well, newer guys that we just got here that they're trying to find their groove. They're trying to gel. Generally, offenses take quite a bit of time to get installed. New offenses take quite a bit of time to get installed and get running properly. We don't have the time to come off the blocks and not start hot. We don't have the time to do that. You look at this schedule, it is riddled with killers. And even the teams that we don't think are very good, they're going to give us their best shot week in and week out because it's the Jets. The same way that teams look at Kansas City or they look at the Bills, this is a big-time team. They come in here, we got to give them everything that we got. So I think we need to take as much time as possible. Every rep, every snap, every mental rep that you can have, you need to give them because we have young guys as well. We're talking about a lot of these veterans that are moving and shaking here that we've brought in. There are young guys here, too, that we expect significant, impact from. We just talked about one, Will McDonald. You yourself just said you expect a double-digit sack season from him, right? That's a lot to ask of a rookie, to be completely honest. Double-digit sacks. Me, myself, 7 or 8 sacks, I'll be cool with that from Will. Even 5, I'm good. You said you want 12. Or early teens. That's what you want. That's a lot to ask of a rookie. He needs to be in here. The defensive coordinators need to be looking at him. The staff needs to be looking at him. They need to be critiquing how he does stuff, right? But let's move on from that. Let's go to the offense. What about Joe Tippmann? This is a guy that everybody thinks is going to be the starting center. You don't think that he needs more snaps? You don't think it would benefit him to be in mandatory minicamp, picking Aaron Rodgers' brain and being completely immersed again within the offense? Because let me tell you something. When we go out there week 1, when we go play the Bills, when we go play Kansas City, they not going to give a damn about none of that because we're the Jets, and they're coming to smoke our boots. I believe, and again, I'm not bashing Coach Saleh because I love Coach Saleh. I think he's a great coach. But we should have had mandatory minicamps for all of those things. Teams are going to give us their best shot. Ask yourself this. Will Bill Belichick have not had a mandatory minicamp? oh, he would have had one. And we all know that. Because Belichick wants one thing, and it's to be completely prepared. They don't give a damn. Those boys prepare. I'm telling you, the Patriots prepare like none other. Every second, everything is focused on being completely prepared. And we're not just talking about film. We're talking about down to the rule books. Remember when he was abusing the rules? Oh, my God. Yo, I hate Belichick. But do you remember when he was abusing the rules at one point? There was rules that he was taking advantage of. They created formations. You can look this up. They literally were creating formations because the rules had been bent a little bit offensively. They've done that there. There's literal offensive formations that the Patriots created because they saw that they could take advantage of certain rules that had been bent offensively. So I understand this whole, hey, you know, everything's good. Let's not tire the guys out. Let's not – listen, expectations are here. Aaron Rodgers is here. Super Bowl or bust is what everybody is screaming. You better be prepared. Take the time to prepare to the gills. Mandatory minicamp should have happened. I don't give a damn if you have the Hall of Fame game or not. There should have been mandatory minicamps. I'll give you the final word on that, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, listen, I understand, Joe, where you're coming from, that they should have had the mandatory minicamp. I understand, you know, where they're coming from. And listen, I would have been okay if they would have had, like, maybe 1 or 2 practices. And I understand that Robert Saleh, like, didn't want to take a risk, you know, like with players, you know, with that kind of stuff. He also didn't want to take a risk with them, like, getting injured or not. But you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, because Coach Saleh said – now, Coach Saleh did mention that if there were things in OTAs that he did not like, then, yes, he would have had done a mandatory minicamp. But, I mean, according to what Coach Saleh did say, he said that he felt that the team was ahead of schedule. He also felt like that he did like where the team was at. He even met with Joe Douglas about it, and, you know, him and Joe Douglas said to Coach Saleh, you know, listen, you are the coach at the end of the day. It's your decision on what you think is right for the team, you know, on how you feel. And you know what? And he decided, you know what, I'm going to let the players rest. No, we won't do a mandatory minicamp, you know. And the thing is that the Jets will report in much earlier to training camp this year. I think it's going to be Wednesday, July 19th, or Thursday, July 20th. It's going to be one of those 2 days. It will be the earliest they ever have reported to camp, because every year when it always came to reporting to camp, it was always at the way end of July. But now it's going to be from the middle to the end of July this year. One thing is because of the Hall of Fame game we have in August. So, you know what, Joe? At the end of the day, we'll see. But right now, this is the vacation time for the team.
Yeah, no, listen, I hear you. I understand that. It's vacation time, but, you know, me personally, I don't think it should be vacation time. I think it should be preparation time. Listen, Steve, I'm going to go ahead and let you go because I got callers. I got to slide off. I want to thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
All right, Joe. No problem, man. Good night.
All right, you have a good one. Steve calling in. Listen, I've gone back and forth with a lot of people about that, man. People are talking about, hey, Joe, you know, everything's good. Don't worry about mandatory minicamps. Okay, cool. I'll tell you what. If the New York Jets start this season, because it's a possibility, we got some killers on the schedule. I don't know if y'all know that, okay? I don't know if y'all looked at this schedule. Buffalo, Dallas, New England, Kansas City, Denver, Philly. Those are some good football teams in there. Let the Jets start 1-5, okay, or 2-4. I guarantee you we're going to be hearing, I can't believe y'all skipped mandatory minicamp. I'm telling you. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I'm just saying that the New York Jets cannot afford to come out and not be hot offensively from the jump. They can't afford that, okay? And there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things moving and shaking around here. And they're like a lot of young players that we're expecting to have big impact in this upcoming season. And that's who benefits the most from mandatory minicamps is these young guys. And even these new guys that we brought in. Mecole Hardman, hello. Hello, okay? He could use it. I'm just saying. All right? Garrett Wilson, phenomenal rookie season. I expect big things from him in the second season. He's in a new offense here with Nathaniel Hackett, new quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, C.J. Uzomah, all those guys. What about the battles we got going on up front in the offensive line? Everybody's acting like, oh, everything's just so solid. What about Joe Tippmann? Because I damn sure don't want Connor McGovern starting again this year. Mandatory minicamps, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not bashing Coach Sella. I love Coach Sella. If there was space up here, he would be up here on my screen as well. I'm just saying. 515-602-9639. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. I'm taking all callers. I guess, we're going to be going back and forth about mandatory minicamps and other things. Next, I'm going to go to my guy, Rusty. I see you savages. I'll come to y'all in a second. Salutes, Rusty. I want to thank you for calling in. Before we let Rusty go, let me tell you something. Rusty, that man's a savage.
Let's go! Love you, Joe! Love you, fellow savages! Let's go, Jets!
Rusty. You already see me. I'm getting into it, going back and forth, talking about mandatory mini camps. We getting into it about a lot of different things here. Listen, let's start there because I'm a guy, okay, that has made it known that I am not the biggest fan of us not having mini camps, okay? I thought we should have had mini camps. Give me your thoughts on it. How do you feel about it? Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me being, a little perturbed about us not having mandatory mini camps?
Well, respectfully, and love you too, I think we actually did in a way if you think about it because Rodgers came in, like he did the non-mandatory. All the rookies were there. Everybody else showed up, things of that. And we also have the Hall of Fame game coming up. You know what I mean? So I think in a way, I think we chopped off the detour to where everybody's like, yeah, they're not fresh and ready. Meanwhile, we're fertilizing the soil, and now everything's ready to come to fruition. And, we're going to be like oaks, and you're not going to come through it. And, that's actually how I view it, because Rodgers doesn't show up. Now, I don't blame him. The dude's an awesome character. I watched, Pat McAfee, and you can tell when you watch it there. The media gave the man, things. And then, there's business things. So I don't blame on what he says and what he does. But you can see from the players, he's a real guy. Like you wouldn't have these many Packers and everybody else coming over. And now with Amos coming over, that has nothing to do with Rodgers. Like our defense is different situation. Now, granted, it's a good thing because, the trust factor is 1,000,000,000% there. But, Saleh's defense is Saleh's defense. We can't get that twisted. And
no, listen,
boy, what
and we're gonna get to that injury. I want to go back to the mandatory minicamp talk with you though. I understand what you're talking about, right? And I get it, right? Aaron Rodgers was there for the voluntary stuff they threw, but even having that minicamp, I think will greatly continue to benefit this football team. Even though Aaron Rodgers is out there, even when he was out there as a voluntary stuff, right? What do we constantly talk about? Stopping practice at times or stopping things post-snap and saying, hey, look, this is how you run it, him correcting guys. Even him breaking down things in the film room has greatly improved guys' understanding of the offense, and they were still learning, right? C.J. Uzomah, veteran guy, talking about it. Hey, man, he's helped me out a lot. I'm learning different things every day. So that tells you that, hey, guys still need to, and of course, everything takes time, but the more you're out there on the field, the more reps you can get, the more mental reps, the more everything. why not have mandatory mini camps for that? Because I personally believe Belichick, I'm telling you, Belichick would never not have a mandatory mini camp.
He's a grimy. He's only won championship. He's a grimy grinder. Let's meet me halfway. Yeah. No, not like that. Love you,
I hear what you said. He is grimy. Listen, he is grimy, but I tell you what, he's a grimy winner. He's a grimy winner, right? Right? He's got
a craft in his
and
pocket,
what do they
though,
value?
because
what do they value, though? Being completely prepared. And I talked about this.
Oh, of course.
Even the teams we don't think are going to be good, like this upcoming season, like a lot of people, New England, a lot of people look at New England and thinking they're not going to be very good.
No, they're not. But they're going to be competitive in our division.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Every team we play this year is going to give us their best shot. Every last one of them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to come out and play us like we're a 5-time Super Bowl champion because we're getting that love. Like look
right.
six primetime games. I keep bringing it up.
We got that. Right? We got that target on us, and we're not, on sale. So
exactly, we got that juice.
Yeah.
We got that juice.
Yeah, it's true.
Like we them boys.
Yeah,
we haven't won nothing big yet, but we got that juice.
Not yet.
So guess what? We need to be fully prepared. And I understand what people are talking about.
1,000 million.
I get it. Players don't want to tire guys out, blah, blah. I get it. But I'm telling you right now, the Jets have to come out from the jump, from the start of the season, and be hot offensively. You fall behind against Kansas City, you fall behind with Kansas City, they will put you away. We've seen them do it to really good teams. Yeah. Come out and you fall behind early, they'll smoke your boots. We play other teams.
Dude, they did it to Philly, and Philly's insane.
Talk about it. Philly, these are all teams need to come out and be hot offensively. We're installing a new offense. I look at it and I get it. The mandatory minicamp stuff, we got to report for the Hall of Fame game. Listen, you need as much time as you could possibly get on the field when you're installing a new offense. You need as much time as possible.
No, you're right.
Guys need to be out there. That's just my personal opinion. Okay.
You're a million% correct, fam. But then too, at the same time, it's catch-22. Where the other part of it, before it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but even though we didn't have pads, minicamp is completely different because now you're having pads. You're having soldiers going to war. So
yeah,
and not having that, can't lie, it's got to hold you back. It definitely has something, with the click and the punch. So, but at the same time, I think we more so mentally prepared ourselves, if that makes sense. Rodgers was there. That was uplifting enough. Okay. And then you have, like you said, him programming the offense into everybody else. Now you have the other dudes like Lazard, even Cobb. Cobb's probably going to be, a 5 or a 6er. Can't take it away from him. The guy still has the science in his brain. So now you have 3 predecessors working off, and it just roots itself. And, so then you get pride, you get confidence, and then you're able to take that time off in a way to where you can mentally have it in your head to be in okay, it's not a mandatory minicamp in the way that we're thinking of. We're prepping for the Hall of Fame game, and we're just going to eat that and take it as we can. But we have multiple different people that we can pick from, whether, and that's what's great because everybody has different personalities. So you can have somebody that's clicking with Hackett, pull it off of him. You could have somebody that's clicking with Rodgers, pull it off of him. Somebody's clicking with Lazard, pull it off of him. Somebody that's clicking with Cobb, pull it off of him. Bro, that's how many people I just named? And that's just, that's just the roots. It's not, the tree, if you will. And not to get, Aaron Rodgers ayahuasca but that's how I envision it, man. So, I don't know. Like, it's tough to chop down a tree. You ever go at a tree with an axe? It's not that easy. And especially if you have multiple trees going in one thing, I don't know. And then that's not even talking about the defensive side. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And they're together. It's not like how the Bears were where you had an offense that wanted to kill the defense. Like, all of our dudes are on the, on the same side, and they're like, let's go wreck the world. Let's go cash those receipts.
Yeah, no, listen.
And
listen, I said, I hear you, Rusty. I'll just, I'm a little, I don't like it, but it, what's done is done, right? But you started to talk about the defense, and that's where I want to go with you. Listen, Chuck Clark is looking like he's torn his ACL. At least that's the reports that we got, right? And he's going to miss significant time. We brought in Adrian Amos, safety, former Packers, played with Aaron Rodgers, 30 years old, 1 year, $4 million deal. How are you feeling about the safety position, man? What are your thoughts on it now?
Well, you put brains in it. You know what I mean? Like, the guy's football smart. You know what I mean? Like, he knows the field like a grid, and he's very good with plotting and pick. Last year he was, can't deny it, he was freaking awful. But prior to that, that it was Amos. Like, the guy was a stud, especially too when he was on Chicago. And then it was weird because he's running simultaneously with Rodgers hand in hand, if you think about it. So when he was on Green Bay, so when Rodgers was going through, when he won the 2 MVPs, Amos was the man too. He had an off year last year, so did Rodgers. And now I see it as you have a good collection of extreme knowledge. And then getting Trey Dean too. Oh, I wish we would have drafted him. I'm just so happy we got him at UDFA, honestly. Because now you put those guys into the pot and start cooking, geez. Like, athleticism, brains, and then you can just teach the youth when the youth has the brains too, along with the athleticism, whatever that word is, that you can't pronounce it at the time. But, yeah, it's like that. It's one of those things. I don't know. The garden's growing good.
No, listen. I hear you, man. I'm telling you, I'm fired up about this defense as well. Even it sucks to see Chuck Clark go down. Again, I hope the second opinion, it's not as bad, because I remember the night that Zach Wilson jacked his knee up against Philadelphia in that preseason game, and people were like, "Oh, his ACL's torn." There were doctors coming out saying he tore his ACL, MCL, PCL. He's done for the year. People talking his career's over. And it was just like, no, it's just a bone bruise, 4 games.
He's lucky he's young, I'm telling you. Me or you do that, dude, I'm done for life.
Hopefully, but again, with Joe Douglas' reaction to it, signing a guy, and a lot of people talking about it within, the Jets facility, that ACL may be torn, but we'll see. Now, as we continue,
it's terrible, but I love on the same part that they took immediate action. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Sam. What did you say?
Yeah.
My bad.
No, you're right. That's a good point. But talking about this defense, man, I'm looking at this pass rush, and that's one of the things I'm excited for this upcoming season. And this is my question for you. What Jets defensive players do you think we'll see have double-digit sacks this upcoming season?
Cool. You know what? And Steve, the last caller, everybody might call. I don't think he's wrong. I think Will has a shot to at least, I don't know, man. He might get 10. But, and then that's the crazy thing, is you have legitimate bona fide dudes that can. So who knows what JJ is going to turn into? That's one cat. Then you have Clemens, who, he reminds me of I have a top 3 defense. Like, I have 3 dudes, and that's it. Klecko, John Randall, and the Deacon Jones. Like, those are and that's how I grade everybody. I'll just put it that way. And how Clemens reminds me of John Randall. Like, he really does. and now he's just, I don't know. I think dude, and then you have Q, Quinnen, and it's so you have legitimate just 5 guys that I think are going to hit 10. That's freaking crazy. And you're not even talking about Woods that can hit like 7, or who knows what they're going to do, or even JFM. Dude, JFM, a lot of people forget how nasty of a defensive tackle he was. Yeah.
So how many guys are you thinking is going to hit double digits again this season?
Betting man, 4.
You think 4 guys
think 4.
hit double digits? Give me your name.
Yeah,
Give me your name.
10. JJ. I think JJ hits it. I think Lawson hits it. I think Clemens hits it. I think Q hits it. And then I'll have.
So Clemens. Wait. You think Clemens is going to get 10? You think?
Yeah,
Clemens
I think so.
10?
When they.
I think he only had like 2 or maybe 3. I think
exactly.
Like maybe 2 point something or 3 last season.
Yeah.
So you think he gets 10?
It was intermediate. Yep.
Okay, so you think he gets 10? You think Jermaine Johnson is going to get 10 as well?
Yeah. Who are you going to block? Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that's 2. Who else? Who's the other 2 you think is going to get double digits?
Q. I think
Q.
I think Lawson.
You think he gets what? You think Lawson?
I think Q hits minimal 10. I think Lawson has a very good shot to hit 10. And then
Lawson, has a damn good shot to hit 10. Yeah.
That's what I mean, man. And then you put like the Phantom into the clip. Like, who's to say that? I don't know. Out of 17 games, who's to say that Will doesn't get 10 sacks, bro? Like, it's crazy, but it's true. You know what I mean? And then the same thing with JFM. Who are you going to block? Who are you going to double team? Okay, so you're going to double team Q. So now Q and JFM are on the line. So now JFM is one-on-one with somebody. Now you have Lawson on one-on-one with somebody. And what do you call it? Huff? Oh, Jesus. I forgot about Huff. Oh, my God.
I was about to say. I
forget about Huff.
Keep going.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm like. I was going to let you keep going, Rusty. I'm telling you, I was going to close the trap door.
My brain saved my life, thank God.
What about Bryce Huff? What about Bryce
There you
Huff?
go. Yeah.
All this talking about John Franklin Myers getting 10 sacks in the defensive tackle position. What about Bryce Huff? I was going to try to do you, but you caught yourself. Go ahead. Now go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Now we're up to 7. Dude,
okay,
now we're up to 7, and it's realistic. That's what I mean. Like, I just caught my stupid brain. It's like, hey, thank you, idiot. Brett, I got to keep it real, fam,
Oh,
it's crazy,
man.
in a great way. It's nuts. It's good bonkers for once. Like, it is.
Listen.
When you seriously sit down and think about it, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's realistic.
No, I mean,
70 sacks. Think about that. 70 sacks. That's minimum of 10 people that I just named. 7 people getting 10 of just what I named. That's not even rotation. So that's not even counting Woods. That's not counting any of that's not even counting the linebackers or safeties or corners. Dude, it's going to be nutty, buddy. It's going to be nutty.
Yeah, we'll see. I tell you what.
Exactly.
I think I think the New York Jets are definitely going to be much improved. I think we're definitely going to get after people. I think, again, I know the expectations are high for Will McDonald now, especially since
I was shocked, but I was happy. Seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Because
I learned from
are high now. Yeah. I know people want different guys, but especially now, right? And I understand it.
Yeah.
I get it, okay? I get it. But at the end of the day, I think it's tough to ask him to have, 12 sacks, something like that. I would be happy.
And that's the beautiful point.
I would be happy with Will McDonald getting us 5 to 7 sacks. I think that was a phenomenal season. Rookie season.
Oh, you're not wrong.
Sacks, I'll take it. Okay, all day.
But that's what I mean. Our rotation.
Y'all talking about 70 sacks? 70?
Think about it. 17 games. Think about it. And then we have that rotation. Yeah. Think about it though. And that's just the front. That's not even, like I said, that's not even Woods. That's not even our linebackers. That's not even coming on safety blitzes. That's not on corner crashes. Dude, I'm telling you, that's what I'm looking at minimum. Like, in a way, when you think about it. Like, it's weird. Like, think about all the people that I just named. In 17 games, you don't think that the guy can get to the quarterback at least 10 times? Think about that. It's crazy. But I'm right, am I not?
I mean, I don't know about 70. I mean, 70, I think the Eagles had 70 or close to it recently.
Yeah, but that's the Eagles. We're the Jets, fam. We're the Dragon, God. You know?
I know that. I know. Listen, I get it. But to me, right, when we look at 70, like, we have to realistically look at it. And I get it. Quentin Williams.
I am realistically. That's the crazy part.
I hear you. Quentin Williams, double-digit sacks. Yes, I can sign off on that. Carl Lawson, do I think he'll have double-digit sacks? Yes, I'll sign off on it. John Franklin Myers, no double-digit sacks? Yeah, that is 20. John Franklin Myers, double-digit sacks? I don't know about that.
All right, half of it?
And here's why. You
think you get 5?
I think you can get 5. I think he had close to 5.
So that's 25.
I think you can get 5.
So that's 25 between
Bryce
3.
Huff. Now, Bryce Huff is the guy. I think he's going to have more sacks than he did last year. I think he had like 3 or 4 last year. I think he has 8 or 9. I'll give you that.
Okay.
8 or 9, Bryce Huff. I think he has that. But I think he provides a lot of pressure, right? I think Quincy could end up having 5 or 6 sacks too. Clemens, the reason why I think it's going to be tough with 56. The reason why I think it's going to be tough with saying that Clemens is going to have double-digit sacks because Clemens is 290 now. He's going to be on the inside. They're going to move him.
Oh, yeah, but who's going to double him? Who are you going to double?
I mean, he going to – listen, I'm not saying –
Pick your poison.
Clemens is going to have to show you that, though. I get it, dude. He is phenomenal. He's athletic, but he only had 2 sacks this past season. I think like maybe 2.5 sacks this past season. That's it.
Yep.
And again, I love Michael Clemens. I think he's going to be phenomenal. But I mean, damn, he's going to go from 2 to 10 or 2 to 12 or from 2.5 to 12. I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm not saying 12. I'm saying like 9 or 10. Like, I can see it because like if you're going to double somebody, now you're leaving them one-on-one with an inside guard. The center's off somebody. What are you going to do? You're screwed. So now you have a left tackle. Yeah. Or a right tackle. What are you going to do? You know? Like, just think about it. Out of 17 games, you don't think that he can get to the quarterback 10 times?
I don't know.
Think about it.
I
know, man.
Look, I hear you, but that's a jump from 2.5 to 10 the next season, and you 290, and you're going to be on the inside. Yep. I don't know. Especially, again, with, Quentin Jefferson, we just got him into the building. Michael Clemens still going to be in that rotation. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and then they can add to it. So say they go 5 and 5, that's still 10.
Yeah, but that's 5 and 5. That's not one player getting 10 though. It's 5 and 5. You combine it. Yeah. If I can
exactly, but that's But Joe, that's the crazy part. It's still on the defensive line. So no matter how many you cut it, it's going to get to 70, and that's just the defensive line. That's not the linebackers, dude. We're gonna.
How does it get 70 if I just chop the numbers down?
Because if you chop the numbers in half, right? So now the person that's coming in to replace them, they're going to do the other half. And then,
but that's not one guy. That's not one guy getting 10 though, right? That's not one guy getting 10. That's 2 guys getting 5.
So
that's 10 put together.
All right. So then the whole defensive line. So then the whole defensive line on a rotation is 70.
I'm gonna let you get your take off, Rusty. Believe me, I'm not cutting you off. I'm not bashing you. I think the Jets'
I'm not
pass rush is going to be explosive. I think it's going to be very good.
Heck yeah.
But 70 for me is just I don't know about 70. But go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead. Convince me.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, we have so many interchangeable parts so that you put the guys on cycles. So that out of 17 games, the guys that we both just named that you can hit on 10, and we didn't even go through the rest of them. So then you have the other people too that we can agree on that they would at least get 5 to 6. If you go through the whole defensive line rotation, that's actually 70-plus sacks. And that's not even counting the middle linebackers. And then that's, not counting on the safeties. Safeties probably get like 4 or 5 for the year. Things like that, sporadic, hopefully more. Who knows? But, yeah, I see it. And then that's only going to make our secondary feast. So maybe we'll get those interceptions this year. I hope. Hope we have non-butterfingers, but, it is what it is. I'd rather no touchdowns,
Yeah.
when it breaks it all down. But
I think the Jets pass rush is going to be phenomenal. I don't know about 70 sacks. I do think we'll get quite a bit of sacks this upcoming season. And I think the pressures is what's really going to make us out. Like you said, it's something you touched
I'm
on
with
too,
you.
Just a second ago. I think our turnovers, our interceptions, fumble, stuff like that is going to go up because of the pressure we're going to be able to put on the quarterback. That's what I think is going to happen. Chaos. A lot of people aren't talking about that. They're just talking about sacks. I think our interceptions go up. I think people are going to have to force balls into Sauce's hands. DJ Reed, I think, is going to eat this year. And a lot of people
Reed is going to go insane this year.
Oh,
yeah, you're right.
Goodness.
Dude, Carter.
Oh, my goodness.
Dude, Carter's going to be like the Carter 2. Wasn't that like the best-selling record of all time or something like that, or up there? He's going to be like that. You're just going to see him just swipe across the field like a typewriter and be gone. I'm telling you. You're so right, Joe. He is so underrated, and everybody forgets about MC2. I'm with you.
I'm telling you. I'm going to keep bringing these names up. Listen, Rusty, I got to slide off. I love talking to you about this football team. Thank you for calling in. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right?
Heck yeah, Joe. Love you. Love the Gangrene Family Savages. Let's go, Jets.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm talking that talk tonight, all right? I want to hear your takes. I want to hear your perspective. I know Savages in the chat going back and forth. Boy, oh, boy. Dakota J says, we're not getting 70 sacks. Come on, make it 100 then. Maybe 40 or 50. I don't know. I don't know about 70. I'm willing to hear. Rusty's passionate. He makes a good argument. It's just tough for me to 70. That's Eagles. I think the Eagles had that recently. I want to say they had this last season. I think they had it. Boy, oh, boy. We're going to keep getting to these lines again. 515-602-9639. Chris, I see you. 515-602-9639 is the number. Call in. Please give the stream a thumbs up or give the video a thumbs up as well for those of you that are watching me. No matter where you're watching me from, please subscribe if you have not subscribed as well and hit that notification bell. All right? Also, if you want to give to the platform, the Super Chat is there. All right? Anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated. If you want to pass on the Super Chat, the Cash App is at the bottom of the screen. Again, anything you give to the platform is greatly appreciated, okay? Next, we're going to go to Chris, man. I know that Chris has something to say, boy, oh, boy. For those of you that do not know, Chris is a savage. Chris, salute. What's going on? He said, I'm back.
I'm back, man. Get your comments.
With another one.
Man. That's right.
Chris is back with another one.
Yes,
Listen,
sir.
Chris, I'm battling with people tonight, right? I'm talking to people about mandatory mini camps. A lot of people don't like, or a lot of people think that I am hating. They think it's okay not to have a mandatory minicamp. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Give me your thoughts on the Jets not having a mandatory minicamp. Are you all right with it, man? Is it, is it all good to you?
Well, it depends, right? Because we got a new offense and stuff, and it's We're going to see. I mean, I wouldn't have done it. I would have had the guys out there practicing and stuff. But I guess, everybody is like nervous about injuries and getting their players, getting the season healthy and, stuff like that. I mean, they do start, with the Hall of Fame game and stuff like that, But, I mean, listen, if they got everything done in the first part of the training camp and they got all the things they need to do, then let's see. I mean, this is a big expectation year, and I would expect everyone to be, practicing, and getting it together. But maybe they clicked and everything is maybe everybody knows what they're supposed to do. Maybe Aaron Rodgers is that quarterback that got everybody down, and they're practicing all night, and they don't need a mini camp to get it. I mean, but I wouldn't have did it. But I guess Robert Saleh and they thought they would need the defense. I don't think needed it at all. The offense, I do think needed to kind of gel together as far as what they were going to do. Or do think that.
Well, listen, I'll keep telling people. I understand the Hall of Fame game. I get it. But my question remains. Would Belichick, do you think we would ever see Belichick or the Patriots not have a mandatory minicamp in this situation?
No. They really practice very hard.
Yeah.
They go hard. They go hard. Everything. They're out there now. They're just doing anything. Yeah.
Week out.
Yeah.
They're going to be prepared to the gills. And I'm telling y'all, with all the expectations that is on this football team, people call into this show on a weekly basis saying, I remember we got Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl or bust, Joe. I said, whoa. They said, whoa. What are you talking about, whoa? Super Bowl or bust? You better wake up. I said, okay.
No.
I was just talking about playoffs. They said Super Bowl or bust.
I always said that the Jets – I always said this about this Jets team. They're going to start off slow, and then people are going to start getting upset. But towards the end of the year, the team will pick up. But I'm already expecting that. I'm already like I said, I'm already expecting that. So everybody's going to come out like flying, and Aaron Rodgers throwing 100, 150, 300 yards, and there's still a lot of questions on the offense, man. And these offense have to gel. But later in the season, I think we end up 11-6. I think that's the key number. But I think we're going to struggle maybe 2 or 3 games at the beginning of the season.
But that's what I'm talking about. That's why having a mandatory minicamp would greatly benefit this football team. I understand, what you're saying. You just said it yourself, right? And listen, I got people calling in talking about the expectations they have on all these rookies and how they got to come out. Will McDonald is going to have double-digit sacks and Joe Tippmann and all that. Listen, the New York Jets cannot afford to come out and not be hot at the beginning of the season offensively. We can't afford that. We have a lot of good teams on this schedule, okay? We come out Buffalo. If you come out and you're not hot against Buffalo, they're going to smoke you. Dallas is a good football team. We go against New England. They're always well coached. Even if they're not that talented, they're always well coached. Kansas City, come out cold against them, and they'll put your ass back on the plane cold as well with an L, Denver, a scrappy football team. Philadelphia, phenomenal team. You come out cold against these teams offensively, and you're not putting things together because guys are still trying to figure out where they need to be within the offense, and you'll get destroyed. Okay?
I mean, you're right.
I hear it.
You're right.
I'm just letting y'all.
Like I said,
I see this. Here's what I see, Chris. If the New York Jets come out, and by the bye week, I think our bye week is week 7. If we've only won 2 games by week 7, if we're 1-6 or 2-4. I'm telling you that all these people that's like, oh, yeah, mandatory minicamps don't matter. The first thing they're going to talk about is the fact that the Jets didn't have a mandatory minicamp. That's the first thing they're going to be talking about. And the first thing they're going to be talking about is, man, we should have done more to prepare. Look, I get it. Hall of Fame games in the building, I understand that. Those guys need to be out there on the field. Because, again, my question still stands. Would Belichick not have a mandatory minicamp?
No, he wouldn't.
I think he has one.
He would.
He wouldn't
practice all day and night.
He wouldn't have skipped it. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have skipped it.
It would. But you know what I'm saying, it's different for the team with veteran team, and they've been together for 3 years, and everybody knows everybody. But this is a new offense, so I was kind of shocked that they did that. You know? But I mean, the good thing about the Jets, what's going to save the Jets, honestly, is their defense. And honestly, I'm going to say something very popular to Jet fans that people don't really understand. I like Adrian Amos better than I like Chuck Clark. I think he's a better player.
Okay.
I think he's more. He's more tested. I think he's a better player than Chuck Clark. I looked at both players from Chicago. Yes, he had a couple of down years, but when he had a pass rush on him, he was a beast. He was a ball hawk. He made many interceptions. He took down Tom Brady. He was in a very tough division with Drew Brees, and this guy is tested against good quarterbacks. So I'm telling you, when this whole free agency, I wanted Adrian Amos and I wanted Whitehead. I think Whitehead suffered last year because he had some problems with the defense. But I think that I think we have a top tier safety thing. I think we're weak at safety. I think this is the strongest we've been in safety since we had Adams and the other gentleman. So I think we're the best. Marcus May. Yeah, you got two guys there. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
Oh.
Played a couple of good games.
That name just throws me through a loop. Listen, there's some concerns. There's some concerns about the safety position, but like you said, I think with Amos here, I personally like Chuck Clark a lot. He's a versatile guy that moved around. I was glad when we grabbed him from the Ravens. I know that he had actually requested a trade prior to us moving on to him, coming to the New York Jets. But man, with him in the building, I liked it. Go ahead, say it again.
Adding help. I don't think we're done adding to the safety position either. Just to let you know, I think we're gonna get it better.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, we got some guys in the building. Tony Adams is still here. We did get rid of Will Parks. I was surprised about that. He's a guy that usually, finds his way to stay on the Jets roster, but not this time. Maybe he comes back. Who knows? Trey Dean is here. We got Jared Bernard Converse as well. They just drafted him. He's a guy that could end up, really being instrumental back there in that safety position.
In the third round. I was really surprised that Trey Dean to get drafted. I mean, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen him in Florida. I was shocked. I thought he was drafted in the third round, and I was very shocked that this guy was not drafted. I was stunned. I mean, I thought he was just one of the best safeties in the SEC. So I was kind of shocked that he didn't get drafted.
Guys slide, man. Guys slide.
I was stunned.
We know the draft. Guys slide off the board that I would never. Man, there's guys sliding down the board this year, and I was like, huh?
That's what I was saying. I mean, I saw Trey.
How is he still there?
That's what I said. Trey Dean. I was like, and after the Jets, that's a Trey Dean. It's the same safety as Florida. The guy was flying around the field and making tackles and stuff. I thought he was in the third or fourth round. So, but I mean, that's me, man. I just think that I think the defense is going to be really good. The offense will be sputtering, but it'll get on point. I think Aaron Rodgers will start using the tight ends and stuff. But I mean, it depends if we add a run. If we get another, I'm really in favor of getting another veteran running back. I just think it's too. I think it's too.
We got a bunch of backs here. I mean, what? Let me get your thoughts on this. Then you talking about adding another veteran running back? We saw Sulla, come out and they asked him directly about Dalvin Cook, and to this point, the show is live. To this point, Dalvin Cook has not signed anywhere else. To this point, to my knowledge, right? He could be signing right now as I'm talking. I don't know. But as of right now, he has not officially signed anywhere, to my knowledge. They asked Sulla about it. He says that's a stone that we'll turn over, but he kind of tossed it over to Joe Douglas and took a back step and said, hey, that's for Joe to figure out. I don't know how contracts work. There's a lot of rumors that Dalvin Cook to the New York Jets is a thing that we can get done here. So would you want to see Dalvin Cook become a New York Jet? Come closer to your phone a little bit. I'm having trouble hearing. Come closer to your phone.
I think it's going to be a great back. I think Breece Hall is going to be a great back. But this is the thing. When you're coming back from an ACL injury, right, and it takes you a while to get back into the thing, no matter who you are. Just take a look at Jamal Murray last year and this year. Jamal Murray had to take 2 years to get back from that injury, right? And now you see Jamal Murray winning the NBA championship. It doesn't. You need time. You can't just say, okay, Breece Hall's going to go back on the field. No, you need at least 2 years to fully recover from that. So just to throw him back in there and give him all these carries and stuff. And let's be honest with you. I know the offensive line and everybody's you're betting the Jets offense on Michael Carter. And, and to play, I mean, is he the guy that can carry the load? But do you want to base the offense around a fourth round running back? I mean, is he a great guy?
Why can't they base it around Michael Carter? Michael Carter's not a bad running back at all.
He's not. I'm not saying.
I'm just closing fully. I'm a Michael Carter fan, as everyone knows.
I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
Who would you rather have, Michael Carter or Dalvin Cook?
I mean, it depends on how much Dalvin is coming in at. To be completely honest, it depends on how much Dalvin is coming in at. Michael Carter, I don't think is a bad running back. I know that he had a tough year last year, right? But there was also a lot of injuries along the offensive line, and they were not getting.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Was it?
All right. So we've seen Michael Carter. We've literally seen Michael Carter win us a game before. We've seen that.
Listen, like I said, and you look at some of the schematics and stuff and the thing. I'm not sure that Michael Carter and Bam Knight. Now, I may be wrong, but, I think that, a veteran running back in this room would be the. Now, maybe Michael Carter had a bad year. Listen, this is one of the reasons they had mini camp, because Michael Carter needs to show something before they bring Michael Carter in, right? So we're talking about the thing, is he showing things in camp, or even when the other guys say, hey, we don't need these guys. These guys are great. Like, I was in favor of trading for Devontae Adams or signing the thing, but I heard this guy Brownlee and these other guys are showing out in camp. They're really doing well, and some guys maybe get a shot here. You don't know. With a great quarterback, some guys can rise to the occasion. But we're going to be a run first offense, so we're not going to be passing. This is not going to be the Aaron Rodgers that be throwing the hundreds of yards. Everyone, this is going to be a running team. It's going to be a ball-controlled offense. So I'm sorry to think he's going to get.
Oh my goodness! Aaron Rodgers is here bursting everybody's bubble.
Aaron Rodgers is not throwing the ball around, man. It's going to be a run-heavy offense.
Come on with the run, Chris. It's time to light the sky up. We're the New Orleans Saints. It's time to throw for 7,000 yards. Let's do it. Okay, we got all these guys. Why can't we throw the ball around? Who wants to run the ball and be boring, Chris? Come on, man.
Because this is what I'm saying. The Jets, even the offense is particularly taking on running backs. And that's why they were talking about getting Dalvin Cook. That's why they're talking about getting all these running backs. Listen, because they rely on run. They don't want to put Aaron Rodgers in a position at 38 years old, 39, 40 years old. He has to go out there and throw for 300-400 yards a game. They want to get him there. He can throw for 300 yards. And then if he has to turn to Superman late in quarters, then he can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't think they want to put him in a position where he's dropping back and throwing 100, 400 passes. I think they want to have a balanced running and passing attack. And this is what you're saying about minicamp is the question about the running backs. Can Michael Carter, if Breece Hall's not correct, can Michael Carter, can Izzy Badaconda, can one of those guys take the rim? I mean, I think Izzy can. Not sure. You know what I'm saying? Because NFL's a different game. But, you know what I'm saying? And also you have to take into account for Michael Carter that you have in his defense, you had Zach Wilson this year.
That's true. That's absolutely true. That's true. And that's something that people don't talk about, and I've talked about that in the past as well, that there's a lot of players on this offense that are not as bad as people think they are because literally the defensive game plan when Zach Wilson was there, stack the box, he can't throw, he's not going to beat you with his arm, and even if he can throw the ball, he's so slow mentally that you're going to be able to catch up to where he's throwing the football because he doesn't recognize things quick enough. You're either going to get an interception or you're going to hit him. And they're not going to run the ball because everybody's going to be here. And so that's why our running game struggled as well.
Everybody was stacking the box.
It was literally the same thing. Listen, you watch the game plan against Zach Wilson his rookie year. It was the same game plan he played the second year. Same game. Yeah. I'm telling you, go watch the Panthers game, the one where Mekhi Becton went down. Go watch that game. And then look at the games in the second year. They literally did the same stuff. That was the first game.
They had
the same stuff for the rest of his career.
And maybe he's not. Maybe he is a great running back. But this is the reason why you need to have minicamp to find that out. So, I mean, I don't know. I definitely want to bring Quan back, though. I definitely want to bring him back.
Oh, yeah, Quan Alexander definitely needs to be.
I want to definitely bring him back. And
we'll see. There's a lot of talk about him wanting his deal being too much, or he wants too much. Again, those are rumors that are swirling. We'll see. But I think if a deal can be made with Quan, then they'll get it done. But quickly, go ahead and give me your last word on that, Chris.
All right. Well, I think that Quan will be back. I think he wants to play in there. I think he sees the market in New York and, players he's taking to the fans. I think they'll work something out. Maybe $6 to $8 million, maybe 4 up there and 4 with easy incentives. And he gets for the $8 million thing, and we bring Quitman, and that's it. And maybe bring a veteran safety, and I think that's what I don't really think we're going to bring Dalvin Cook in unless he really wants to come here. But I think So I think we'll see. But this is the reason why I'm questioning, is Michael Carter, is Bam Knight, those guys. So minicamp would have answered a lot of questions. So we'll see.
We'll see. Listen, Chris, I want to thank you for calling in. It's phenomenal to speak to you. Next time I have a show, I want to hear from you, all right? All right, you have yourself a good one. Listen, Chris calling in with some fire, okay? It's a good show, man. Good show. A lot of knowledgeable callers, okay? I want to hear your takes and your opinions, all right? You got to convince me. A lot of good takes tonight. We're going to go ahead and close the show out. Listen, I'm the man of the people. I'm here for the people. Let me shamelessly promote my Facebook page. Everyone go on Facebook, search The Long Beach Joe Show. Like that page. My content's up there. Go ahead and give it a listen. Message me. I'll message you right back. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. All right. Also, leave me some feedback. I love hearing about what you folks think I do here on the Long Beach Joe Show. All right. I'm also on Twitter as well. Going over to Twitter, type in @The Long Beach Joe, @The Long Beach Joe. Go ahead and follow me. I'll follow you right back. You want to troll me? No issues. I'm the troll that lives under the bridge, and I will have my Vera Tucker jersey on at all times. At all times, man. Listen, ATV is a monster, okay? He's a monster, and he's going to destroy people this upcoming season. In case you forgot that he was dominant, he will remind you. Trust. All right? You need a good offensive lineman. Heck, you just need a good player. Pick someone from USC, all right? You'll be good to go, okay? Fight on, all right? So go ahead and, follow me, personal page, @YoungJ000, okay? Also, you want to check the show out live, okay? You want to check my content out, what I do, go on over to YouTube, okay? YouTube is in the building, all right? YouTube is in the building, okay? Go on over to YouTube, type in Long Beach Joe Jets on YouTube, okay? Go ahead and subscribe, okay? Like the videos as well, okay? After you like the videos, go ahead and comment. Troll me in the comments if you want to, and we can go back and forth on those as well. And when you see me in person, folks, it is arms out, chest open, free hugs for everyone. Free hugs for everyone. The hugs will cost you absolutely nothing. I want to thank everyone for calling in. I want to thank everyone for interacting with me in the chat, going back and forth with all the savages. I also want to thank Adam Bartolo of the Virginia Jets fan club for calling in tonight, spreading his message and talking about what they do there in Virginia and how they show love to this football team. Get involved with them any way that you can. You folks have a good one. Peace.